One of the things I often get asked about is what to do for people with wrist pain in a closed chain position or weight bearing on the hand. As I'm looking at how well people tap into their fascial tensegrity and their whole body stability system, right? So the trick in our upper extremity, because we are not made with a built-in spring like we are with our legs, is to learn how to use the hands really actively in a weight-bearing position. So I speak to active hands a lot when I'm doing open chain. An active hand open chain is like you're reaching for something, right? Oftentimes open fingers, reaching long, and there's this connection into the arm, right? Oftentimes open fingers are with a little bit of flexion. Another active hand can be a fist or a gripping type position, but obviously in a weight bearing position we don't have that. So the way I get that is really by learning how to feel that functional hand position in non-weight bearing. And the best way to teach that is with lumbrical flexion. So lumbricals are the little muscles in your hand that provide stability and strength to your hand. They attach to our long flexor and extensor muscles and tendons. So they, even though they are solely in the hand, they have an action all the way up the arm. So to connect into your lumbricals, all you do is keep your fingers straight and then flex at your joint here between the hand and the finger, so the metacarpal phalangeal joint, the MCP joint. The trick is to keep everything straight. As soon as you flex your fingers, you're more in the flexors than you are in the lumbricals. So when you're doing this with a neutral wrist, what you see happen is the base of my hand also sort of comes closer to my fingertips, and it creates like a little cave in here, or a tent, right? If I'm looking at this direction. So it's tips of the fingers down, flat fingers, and base of the hand towards it. That's the same cue I give for closed chain in the feet, right? So in weight bearing, it is tips of the fingers down, palm of the hand in. Not so much that our joints really raise up, but that you feel that rebound effect from the intrinsic muscles of the hand up into the arm. Also, you'll notice when you do this with a neutral wrist, you feel all this tension in your forearm. So that is that relationship between the lumbricals and the flexor and extensor tendons and the tapping into the fascial tensegrity of our arm. So in weight bearing, it looks like this. The easiest way I get people to do it is actually start without weight on their hands, so sitting back on their heels more. Wide fingers. I like to line the hands up so the index fingers make a 11 or a field goal position. And then what you're going to do is find that lumbrical flexion here. You're going to just, keeping your fingers straight, press the tips of your thumbs into the ground, or tips of your fingers into the ground, and then feel how that starts to bring the base of your hand into the ground as well. Maintain that. You might have to have a little bit of a flexed wrist, not hanging out on, or sorry, a flexed elbow, not hanging out on the joint. And then you're going to bring your chest forward over your hands, trying to get your middle of your chest, like nipple line, in line with your thumbs. That's sort of a good alignment piece. And you'll notice as you bring your weight over the hands, your hands have to work a little bit harder to keep that connection into the lumbricals and not totally collapse in your elbows. So that is a great little prep work of getting into that. Once you're in that position, you can start thinking about organizing your shoulder blades a little bit more too, which I like to think about externally rotating my upper arm bone as if I was holding a pencil between my arm and my armpit. And then you can either think about spreading the floor apart from your hands and activate the back fascial sling system, or sliding your hands together, activating the front fascial sling system. Me personally, I feel more connected with the back. Then, base of your skull lifts towards the ceiling. That gets a nice connection into your serratus. So here's a really good weight bearing position that now I don't feel any pressure in my wrist. As soon as I lose that fascial tensegrity from my hand stabilizers in my shoulder blade stabilizers, I dump into not only the wrist joint here, but also the elbow joint here.